Hey there, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through how to use ChatGPT and more specifically, how to use something called prompt engineering to train the AI so that when you ask it a question, it's more likely to respond in a way that is what you're looking for. So I've already got a prompt right here. So let me just paste that in, and here it is. So first, I'm saying ignore all previous instructions before this one. So I'm prompting it to just ignore everything I've asked it before in this specific tab or in all of history. And now I'm giving it some qualifications. So I'm saying you're an expert remote work consultant. You have been helping people with finding remote careers for 5 years, from young adults to older people. Your task is now to give the best advice when it comes to finding a fully remote job. So this is something that I help my clients with, and I would like to write something about this that will then be very helpful for people. So I just simply ask it now, is that understood? And it's going to respond when I type this prompt. Yes, I understand. My best advice for finding a full remote job is to utilize online job search platforms and websites such as LinkedIn. That's pretty much a given. Create a strong online presence and professional profile on social media platforms. Network with people in your industry. Tailor your resume and cover letter to highlight your relevant skills and experience for remote work. Be open to different types of remote jobs. Be persistent. Keep your skills up to date. Consider reaching out to companies directly, because usually if you just apply for a job online, it gets lost or it's just thrown out and nobody ever takes a look at your resume. So it's always better to know someone who works for the company and get a personal introduction, right? So these tips are really, really good. And I simply asked it, is that understood? So it should have just said, yes, I understand, but it also elaborated on each of these points that can help you find a fully remote job, right? So if I wanted to, let's say, ask it to elaborate on one of these points, like tailoring your resume and cover letter, I can simply come down here and say, thanks for the tips. Please elaborate on this point, and simply copy paste that in, right? So now it's going to start elaborating. When tailoring your resume and cover letter for remote work, it's important to highlight any relevant skills, such as your experience working remotely, if you have previous experience, whether it be a freelancer or whatever it may be. Technical skills. Many remote jobs require the use of specific technologies such as video, blah, blah, blah. Communication skills requires communicating via email, instant messaging. So these are all very helpful tips in more detail on that specific point. Collaboration, teamwork. So now that we've asked this question, it's now responding with specific examples of ways that you can find a fully remote job. This will be very helpful if you are coaching somebody, or let's say you are looking for a fully remote job. So now we can also ask it, okay, I can say, okay, great, thanks. Can you give me a list of the top 10 remote job boards to find a fully remote job, right? Sure. Here's a list of the top 10 remote job boards to find fully remote jobs. And then it just starts listing them. There are literally hundreds of them, but I've just asked it to give me the top 10, right? So that's exactly what it's doing. And I'll also mention that there's a website called Learn Prompting right here. So it's a free open source course on communicating with AI. You can simply start learning right away. And you can also see which ones are for beginners, more advanced, intermediate. So this is also a really great website. It's a little bit technical, as you can see here, a little bit complicated. So I wouldn't really recommend reading through all this stuff unless you're really interested to learn more about prompting. But for the most part, it's really easy, pretty easy to come up with prompting for ChatGPT. So that's great. So now I have a list of the top remote job boards. I can simply come over to one of these, um, start submitting my resume for remote jobs, and be off to the races. But let's say I want to first optimize my resume so that it gets through this applicant tracking system that a lot of hiring managers use when they're screening qualified candidates. We can ask it, what are some of the best resources, for example, to optimize your resume so it's ATS compliant, that's applicant tracking system, in order to get a fully remote job, right? So now it's simply listing a few of the websites that you can use to optimize your resume, which is great. That's exactly what I asked it for. These are the top resources. So you've got JobScan, number one, the Muse, the Balance Careers, Glassdoor, LinkedIn Learning, Resume Now. So this is a great list of resources. When creating your resume, it's important to use keywords that match the job listing to keep your formatting simple and avoiding graphics or images, and to save your resume as a plain text or PDF file. This is an important point. Also, make sure to proofread your resume for any errors or typos, as ATS systems can also flag these as well. So now we can simply say, great, thanks for the info. Please list specific examples of top. I can also give it a prompt too. So let's say you are an expert career advisor with 10 years of experience. Please tell me with specific examples how to optimize my resume to increase my chances of landing a competitive, because it's very competitive, fully remote job in 2023, right? This will allow me the freedom and flexibility to travel, and I can work from anywhere. To optimize your resume and increase your chances of landing a remote job in 2023, I would recommend using keywords that match the job listing, which is what it's cited up here as an important point. Tailor your resume to the job listing. Sorry. Loud motorbikes in Thailand. Customize your resume to highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant to the role you're applying for. Highlight your experience working remotely if you have previous experience, which is what was cited earlier. Use a simple and easy to read format, no images, make it a PDF or plain text document. Showcase technical skills, highlight your communication skills, emphasize your self-motivation and self-discipline, very important since you're going to be required to do a lot of the work autonomously without your boss looking over you all the time, making sure you're on task. You need to show that you work independently. Showcase your experience with collaboration tools, be concise, proofread your resume for errors. Many of the topics that they've already discussed in the previous prompt response. But let's say we have a job description. So let's go over to LinkedIn real quick and find a remote job, right? Very easy to do. All I have to do is come over to LinkedIn, go to the jobs tab right here, click at the top on jobs. Okay, it's a little bit slow for some reason. Okay, so we've got jobs here, and now we can filter just remote jobs, right? So let's say I'm going to come up here, press enter. I'll show you exactly how to find fully remote jobs on LinkedIn. Very easy to do. You simply come here, And given the prevalence of remote jobs now, you can simply select remote. And these are just remote jobs in Thailand. You can also open it up to worldwide. But for the purposes of this example, I just want to find a job description for a fully remote job, right? So here's a social community manager. I want the job description. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's search for remote jobs in the United States because I would like to be earning a US salary while living over here in Thailand, right? So here we go. Here's the job description right here. So let's take that and let's put it over here and say, write a cover letter, because many of these remote jobs are going to require a cover letter, and it's best if you can submit one because it will help you stand out from the competition, right? For a remote job with the job description, with the following job description. And keep in mind, it already believes that it is a professional career advisor because that's the prompt that I gave it up here. So it should be able to remember that based on my previous prompt and come up with a good cover letter here. Now we just paste in the job description, and within a few seconds, it's going to write the entire cover letter for you. So here it is. Dear hiring manager. So obviously you would insert their first name here if you have their first name. I'm writing to express my interest in the building consultant position that you have posted. With my background in construction consulting services and my experience performing through blah, 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 I'm confident that I would be a great fit for this role. I have over 5 years of experience right here. So this is what they cited earlier. You should show your experience in your resume or your cover letter, including scheduling site visits with specific examples, communicating with clients, performing through property inspections. This one is a little bit dry and boring, just based on the specific job we're applying for. But as you can see, it's come up with the entire cover letter right here, which you can then use when applying for the remote job. And it goes on to say, I'm highly experienced in the use of various tools and softwares related to the construction industry, such as, here's specific examples, which are going to be keywords that the hiring manager is looking for when they're scanning through resumes and cover letters, right? So it's going to pick out these specific examples right here: SketchUp, AutoCAD, and building codes. And then it goes on to say, I'm also familiar with the regulations and laws that govern the construction industry, and I'm always up to date with the specific standards and building codes. I'm excited about the opportunity to work remotely, and I'm confident that my skills and experience make me an ideal candidate for this position. I look forward to the opportunity to discuss how I can contribute to your team. Shows you're a team player. Please feel free to contact me at, and then you insert your contact info here. Thanks for your consideration and application. Sincerely, Mike. So that's all there is to it. So now you can simply take this cover letter and, come over to LinkedIn, click the easy apply button right here, and fill out a few basic information. Sometimes they'll ask for a cover letter, other times they won't. In this particular case, they're not asking for a cover letter, so you only upload your resume. So that's really not the best example, but many of the easy apply jobs are very easy to apply for, hence the name. And you can simply enter your email, phone number, upload your resume, and obviously make sure it's well optimized for ATS, which is what I talked about earlier in this video. I don't really think that ChatGPT can optimize your resume for you. There may be some way to just copy paste the entire resume in here, but it's better to use one of these websites, such as this one, JobScan. And I also have another one called Cultivated Culture, which includes a resume scanner and optimizer. So if we were to ask it to add more options, more examples here, it would probably list this one as well. But this is one of the best ones that I've found. So we can come to free tools here, and then we can go to resume scanner. And then it's just a simple matter of uploading your resume, and then you can tweak it so that it has a high score and will get through this ATS system that a lot of hiring managers use. So you upload your resume, enter the job description, industry, job title, and then scan your resume. And you can also create your resume through here as well. See, they also have a resume builder and a cover letter builder too that is optimized. So here's different resumes you can choose from here. So let's say I want to select this one, for example. I think I already have an account on here, but I just want to show you how to build the resume with this tool. So here it is, very easy to use. And we can build the entire resume and save it right from here, all for free. So yeah, really powerful. I highly recommend doing all of this before you start just applying for remote jobs willy-nilly, because you most likely won't hear anything back, as I've experienced time and time again because of this ATS system. And maybe I don't have the proper qualifications. You also have to make sure you're applying for jobs you're qualified for as well. That's obviously very important too. So that's how to use ChatGPT to find fully remote jobs, how to optimize your resume, write cover letters. It can do pretty much anything that you ask of it. It's very, very powerful. And you're going to need to learn how to use ChatGPT if you want to stay relevant in 2023 and beyond. This technology is very powerful, and it's going to be replacing jobs across entire industries over time. So definitely useful, and stay tuned for more videos about ChatGPT. This is a topic I'm very interested in. There's a lot of YouTube videos popping up about it. And I also have a full course, a masterclass, available on Udemy and Skillshare. I'll leave a link to those in the description below where you can sign up. Skillshare offers a free trial, and then on Udemy, I think it's like $10, so not expensive at all, and definitely worth learning more about. So stay tuned for more videos on this topic and other things from Thailand. And with that being said, please subscribe. Take care. Stay safe.